Lights out.
Perfect
for you.
timing.
Now, your admiral is on board.
Prepare.
Thank you very much, Slacks. Yeah, I mean, we're getting the Visage again, Andy. They did this time give Alliance the chance to respond with 2 picks. Do you like the way that they responded? I mean, one of those heroes is the Luna that does keep winning.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that they took the Luna. They were talking about it quite a bit on the panel. At least Cinderin, the only person talking about the game on the panel. But no, it's definitely good in this game. It's got a really high win rate. I think 100%'s decent last time I checked, but we'll see if they can do it this time around. I do feel as though when you have a Visage and you're playing against a very high natural armor core, like a Luna, you do run into some more problems. Like in game 1, there was a lot of squishy heroes on Alliance that the Visage could just eat through, right? Like a Queen of Pain, for example. Like Limp had to go for the Yules for the axe and then go back for Plate Mill, things like that. But in this game, there's going to be a Rum buff, and there's going to be a Luna with absurdly high armor on top of that. So I do feel like Quickfa is going to run into maybe some, you know, at least a little bit of trouble this game, I would.
Okay. And one of the other things that I've got to ask you about, Andy, something that we're going to see Boxi try and show us how it's done. The off-lane Mirana, is this something that you're happy to see and you're hoping it's going to be making it into your pub soon?
Okay, so let me first start by saying I don't ever want it in my pubs because you know the Miranas that you get, okay? You're not going to get Boxi's Mirana.
No.
You're going to get the guy who is like AFK from his keyboard, comes back, he's like 4 position, and then he picks it last instead of just like first picking it, because why wouldn't you do that? So that's the Mirana you're gonna get. In that case, I absolutely don't want it. However, I do feel like in this type of game, like the enemy safe lane Alliance is not really that scary kill potential wise, right? Like they have a couple of nukes, but it's not really gonna be too hard, I think, for him to really just occupy the lane. Right now it looks like he's either yeah, he's just scouting for the creep. Okay. So FNG is going to see him. Not really much is going to happen here. But, I mean, I do feel like the rest of the pieces of Liquid's draft are good enough to kind of just make it work.
Gone on it. FNG has come in with the TP to try and provide some sort of help out for Escort, but he's so low. Insania just started to right-click him down. He does get the chance to pop one more death bolt. He's going to live. South does get cancelled, but he will live, and Alliance will be the ones to claim first blood as Insania falls.
He was real thirsty for that kill. And looking at the lanes real quick, we do see that it's going to be the Visage in the side lane. Something that we don't see very often. Like Cinder was saying during the panel, you kind of want to put him mid just for getting the familiars up as soon as possible. I guess for whatever reason, they really don't feel comfortable putting him mid against the Kunkka, or maybe it's that they want Mickey to be a much more active piece in this game, because obviously Ember Spirit also does benefit greatly from having EXP.
You do get that benefit, I guess, having it in the tri-lane. You know, this soul assumption, the damage adds up. Like this new kit hurts, and you're able to throw it out at such a high frequency with just that 4-second cooldown.
Yeah, my big issue with that is they're against an Oracle, and eventually FNG is going to have Fate's Edict. I don't know if he's going to skill it at 2 just because of the lane, but pretty much all the damage you're going to be taking from Liquid's tri-lane is magic. Like Boulder is magic. You know, once he gets the rolling Boulder, that's also magic. Soul assumption.
Trying to have a
little bit of trading here.
A bit of a poke onto Tiger, but it doesn't work out. And I mean, that's the soul assumption, baby. It's so much damage early on.
He's on board.
Yeah, I don't even think he was expecting to take that much damage. I certainly did.
And he's got plenty of those to spare. I mean, sure, it costs a bit of mana, but he's prepared. He's got a couple of mangoes ready to go, Quickfa, ready for the next few engagements. They've got to be careful. You cannot underestimate that huge nuke that flies out.
Well, it's just showing Liquid's experience with the hero, right? Like, they play Visage. I don't even... Isn't, like, Nigma the only other team that plays that hero? Maybe Secret? I don't know. I don't really know anyone else who plays it, as often as Liquid. So if anyone's going to know how to run it, it's definitely going to be these boys.
All action on this top lane with the tri-lane versus tri-lane. Elsewhere, what are we getting? Limp in the mid, 18 for 2 against the 15 for 2 in mid-K. Pretty close. Pretty even stuff going on in that 1v1. And down bottom, Nico Baby, 15 for 5, 13 for 3. Again, pretty much just trading farm there between the two heroes. It really is just this top lane where you can expect all the action to happen. Very unlikely that you're going to see any sort of kills happen elsewhere before the movements coming from the supports.
I wonder if this was their plan all along on Liquid to kind of put this 1v1 where the Mirana is going to be really high level. You see her roll top.
Gets kicked back, but this time they're going to be able to turn onto Tiger. Tiger gets taken down, but again, the soul assumption. Bam, S4's out. So sure, they lost Tiger, but they're killing the core. S4 dying yet again on this top lane to the tri-lane of Liquid.
You love that trade if you're Liquid. You'll take that every day. This Necro is going to feel pretty rough if he's not having a good start. If he doesn't get any items, like the Visage is going to tear him apart. There's probably going to be a Vessel coming up. And most likely an Emperor. Maybe they fight button, I guess. I'll roll here. Fight.
It just never stopped. It's on this top lane with a try versus try action. Over to was FNG. He's able to keep his distance here. They can't quite get a follow-up lockdown. Boulder still on cooldown for 5 seconds. They have to be careful how far forward S4 steps forward, especially with the ability of Tiger to sort of peel in and kick him away from the rest of his backup.
Yeah, the thing about Necro as well is, like, look at how slow this hero is. 280 movement speed. He is a snail in a lane like this where you have that Earth Sphere that you have to constantly be worrying about, so. Lots of action still. Mickey's got a bottle haste, by the way. So if he does make a rotation top, he'll be devastated.
See, this time Tiger looks like he'll go down without finding anything in return. Lights and more than fine there as he tried to commit, didn't hit the connection with the rolling boulder. This time around, Alliance able to keep S4 alive whilst they take a kill on the support of Liquid.
And look at this difference in the Mirana and the Luna's net worth. Boxi is even going to be able to secure both bounties on the bottom side of the map if he wants to. I guess he's leading the other one for Mickey. He's going to get X here, triple Remnant.
Ooh, Mickey!
The solo kill.
That's going to feel good. Blowing up a Kunkka like that, you know, a hero that is not a squishy one. This is a guy with a fair amount of strength to start off with, but Mickey sees the chance to dive in and blow him up. He did the maths.
Yeah, that level 6 timing.
He knew it was enough. You know, not always are you throwing in the 3 remnants to go for something like that, but Mickey knew he had it in him.
Middle lane's kind of an island this game. Not a lot of action going to be going on there unless it's a 1 versus 1. We're going to see a TP from FNG towards bot. Looks like Nico's saying, hey guys, I'm actually not winning this lane. Mirana's doing very well and is also bounty runes. Maybe it's time to change up the way we're handling our laning situation, because I really don't think it was working out for Alliance.
No, for sure. I mean, as you say, you know, Boxi was leading the CS. I mean, is that expected? Is it easier to CS as a Mirana? Nice attack animation?
Well, it's not just about necessarily the CSing, it's just about your range.
Yeah.
Like, your 630 attack range on a Mirana. Luna's only, 330, so it's quite low. But even in this situation, I would still favor Liquid. Like in the 2v2, I think Liquid's lane stronger down here, and in the 1v1, I still feel like it's stronger. So maybe their plan with putting the Visage in the side lane was that it would set up for better 1v1s for both of their other core heroes. And in that sense, it's actually quite effective.
Yeah, I think, I mean, as you say, they are taking the hit in the fact that Quakefa isn't getting a lot of farm up there, but
we saw that last game too, right? Like, he was getting dumpstered by Limp, and then it just didn't matter. Yeah, you're right. He
did have a very slow start last game and ended up walking away without dying at all, and getting very good timing on his auras with the helm, the AC, and the pipe.
Yeah, that's why it's always important when you see these like Visage picks and stuff and people try to like run it in a pub. It's because they have a thorough understanding of how the hero plays in the game, not just for the first like 9 minutes. So they understand that this hero is going to be able to make some kind of a comeback with his familiar farming and such, and then he'll be the piece they need him to be, you know, once Mickey and Boxi start making moves.
Yeah, talking about when Mickey does begin to make those moves, do you think the Alliance have enough sort of catch to threaten this Ember, or does Mickey feel pretty safe playing in aggressively this game?
I think X is always tricky. I mean, you can definitely avoid it as an Ember, but there's a lot of mind games that go on, like Xing and not torrenting and stuff like that, and trying to get these spells S4, maybe that again here.
Lucky as this one charges out the infused ray drop. That was... Yeah. I mean, you're right, this Visage, it just pretty much 100 to 0'd S4. with the familiars.
I mean, he hit level 6 first as well, so the supports on the side of Liquid, like not sapping as much of the experience during the early game, like S4 just hit level 5 right now off that wave. So now this lane is kind of, you can see how much he doesn't want to be here. Even with Hanskin standing next to him, what's Hanskin going to do against familiars? He doesn't have swap. Like, it's really hard to just occupy this lane right now if you're Alliance for anyone.
S4's just trying his best to have a look in at the creeps, but you can certainly feel it a step placed in the wrong direction. And then S4's going to get gone on immediately by Quaker. Sitting around the mid, Limp has been able to take the lead back using the ability to farm those side camps as quickly as he can. He does have the advantage now in CS. And down bottom with the way they've moved around, having FNG give the bit of safety towards Nico Baby. It's keeping Nico Baby's farm okay, but still it is Boxi that's just having the time of his life down. He's 46 and 14, he's still farming better than the Luna, and with the help of Tiger, he's getting kills as well.
Yeah, set up with the Air Spirit, really nice roll in, easy kill. And again, it's not like, you know, Nico Baby doesn't even have a clip skill. So even if he were to walk back into lane, they kind of are just being left on islands, it seems like, because not any one of the lane supports, or even the cores from Alliance, can really help each other when an initiation happens, because they don't have all the spells that are necessary in order to take fights yet. Like, we don't have the False Promise, we don't have Nether Swap. You know, there is a boat available, but Limp is still kind of focusing on his own game right now in mid. So whenever there's an initiation by Liquid, it's pretty much just being unanswered currently by Alliance.
Yeah, and when does that change? Is it just when sort of the
it has to be
ults down supports?
Yeah, I think, yeah, Hanskin needs swap.
Yep.
They are going to get a Dispel onto the Flame Guard in mid, which is kind of helpful, I suppose. But you can kind of tell that Alliance don't really feel confident really showing their heroes anywhere. Like, top is hard to occupy because of the reasons we already talked about. They are going to throw a boat onto Boxi.
With the
pretty tough kill.
Moonlight Shadow already out. Barely scratches him at all. He's got a lot of HP ready to play with still. Pops the one, he's back up to full. They get the roll in. There's the arrow falling onto FNG. Boxi, he's not going to try and commit to finish off the kill though. There's still the presence of both Limp and Nico Baby in the neighborhood, so Boxi will let it go.
God, Liquid's movement looks so nice right now. They get like every single bounty rune. They even aggressively are farming these stacks that Alliance has spent so much time putting together.
Oh, that's painful.
They're not even going to get these. Like, this is so bad for Alliance, honestly. Like, this is looking real rough.
I mean, yeah, that sort of bouncy play into those stack stealing, it's an instant 2k lead up on the net worth at just 10 minutes in.
Yeah, Liquid are playing this early game exceptionally well. Like, they know how strong they are. They can just walk into any location on the map with a core and a support and feel confident in occupying that space. You saw how big of a reaction Alliance had there just to try to force them out of that triangle area where the stacks were, and they couldn't even do it. Like,
down bottom, they're just diving in underneath the tower. FNG has hit the 6, so we'll be able to put the False Promise. TPs are coming in. Boxi instantly goes for his own TP out of there. He'll manage to make it away, Tiger. He's got the roll up in a few seconds, and he'll be fine. He's able to get into the trees. So they don't get the kill, but they do manage to make sure that they don't get turned around themselves. And if anything, they have forced FNG to use the False Promise. So even though he's hit the 6, they've still got a good window where maybe they can look to dive somewhere else, and they know that this Oracle can't come in with the save.
Yeah, I mean, it's Alliance. They just have to look for silver linings, because Liquid are the ones who kind of hold all the control, right? Like, Insania is just chilling up top. He's pushing out a wave. He's level 6 already. He's going to see another roll into S4 into an arrow.
Gone. He's absolutely gone. There's no way to stay alive there. Try to help himself with the Ghost Shroud, but they just have so much magical damage that Ghost Shroud doesn't really help him at all. If anything, it just means that he dies that little bit quicker. As the rest of Alliance, they're still hiding in the trees. See if they're able to find anything here. The boat coming out does manage to land onto Boxi. Boxi leaps to the side. He's still got one leap ready to go and a one. So he's fine. More than enough health to stay alive. Turns with the arrow, won't find the connection.
Under attack.
They're pushing them in underneath the tower. Look at Mickey's aggressions. He's poking, prodding. He knows that FNG still hasn't got that False Promise. The Willow is down, cleaning up the trees. FNG, he's going to go down. They could try for even more. Boxi jumps in towards Hanskin. Hanskin goes for TP out. Will make it away just in time. Tiger kick back onto the Kunkka to keep Tiger alive. He's okay. Limp's left behind. The three of them surround him. Liquid, they're going to be able to slowly but surely claim another life of Alliance.
This is kind of rough to watch, Owen, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, that dive, they're just getting styled on currently. The whole way this kicks off, they initiate onto S4, and he has an Oracle And obviously the Venge isn't 6 yet, so we can't really count Hanskin as an actual save. But they did have the Fate's Edict and Fortune's then. So when the Earth Spirit initiates, typically how the matchup goes when you have an Oracle on your team, that the Oracle will dispel everything the Earth Spirit does if the Oracle is not the one receiving the spells, right? Because you get silenced, obviously you can't dispel yourself. But if they're jumping on someone else, he had both of his supports in the area and neither one of them were standing behind him. Like, what's going on here with Alliance? Like, where's the communication?
Radiant's bottom
They were like a screen away from him when he got hit by the roll, right? That's kind of what I mean. Like, someone should be there.
No, it's definitely looking a bit rough. I mean, Alliance, I mean, you must have seen it yesterday, that game that they lost against OG. Ever since that loss, they have just looked a little bit all over the place. As you say, just moments where coordination just, it's not
Radiant's
there.
Bottom tower is under attack.
I think after that particular match, they might feel differently about Slack's win rate.
I think a lot of people did
actually,
after that.
They ruined them. And, you know, I mean, I guess you could be a little bit shook from a match like that, but I like to think that these players are experienced enough to be able to just be like, okay, you know what, it's a new day. Let's just try to play the game the way we want to play it. But it just seems like Liquid's heroes, they play so fast, and they have essentially no cooldowns. Like, their longest cooldown is Will-O-Wisp, right? 130 seconds, and then Magnetize is 100 down to 80 level. So they can just fight constantly. There's never a point where they can't react.
S4, he was trying to have a poke there. Behind the tower, the arrow comes through, will clean up the Hellbear Smasher. Easy plus 200. The Will-O-Wisp is down onto the three of them, into the Familiar Stuns as well. The Magnetize, Alliance, they've got to be careful. The boat comes crashing in. The False Promise is there to keep Nico Baby alive. He's trying to terminate. They do get a torrent. The Reaper Cypher's down. S4 will be able to claim the kill, but he's lost his own life. The Magnetize is still being kept on them. Tiger keeping it on them for the entirety of this fight, pushing them all back. See if Liquid can get anything more out of this. It is the 2-for-1. Alliance are able to take Mickey out of the game, but again, it's costing them heroes.
That was actually not too bad of a salvage, though, from Alliance. Like, if we're being honest, they got the Kata ulti dropped on them. The arrow, fortunately, hit the Hellbear Smasher, I think, so it didn't make contact with the hero. Nice. And the boat buff just kept them tanky enough to be able to live through, like, the initial onslaught that Liquid was throwing at them. If that boat didn't hit when it did, it probably just would have been like a 3 or 4-0 in favor of Liquid. And FNG, finding out why it really sucks to play against Visage. Oracle.
Yeah, he's got Nico Baby by his side, so Quakeful will be a bit careful, and maybe Quakeful poked a bit too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, Limp's going to be able to catch, and yeah, Quakeful, he was very, very deep and on his own. I mean, I guess he just wanted to kill that Oracle. Ends up getting himself killed as he dives into Alliance's jungle with no backup.
Yeah, look at the wards though, Owen. Like he had to have seen them, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, he must have seen. Well, I guess he didn't see Nico Baby.
He might have seen like one of them, I guess. Yeah,
he must have seen someone else other than just FNG. Yeah.
Has fallen.
Yeah. Either way, a little bit odd. Alliance potentially looking at the road bit. It's quite hard though. They don't really have any minus armor besides hand skin. Okay.
Let's see if they can do anything more with this momentum, Alliance. But it was Tiger, Limp, as he got the grab with the X mark he has. Tiger, he will not be able to play his way out of this one. Drag back into the stun. They get the clean kill onto the Earth Spirit. So Alliance starting to find some form themselves, moving around as a unit, getting these pick-offs. Trying their best to slow down Liquid's game and make sure that Nico Baby's going to have the chance to take over as this Luna.
He is currently the highest net worth, which is a good sign. So if you're an Alliance fan and you're looking for them to make a comeback into this game, Nico Baby is definitely the guy you want to be looking at. And Limp, I really love the itemization. He's going for the Crimson, recognizing that most of the damage that is really scary for the supports, at least, is the Visage, right? So when you pop that Crimson, it more or less makes your supports invulnerable to Visage birds for, you know, X amount of time. So that means that you can get your spells off, you don't have to worry about a Familiar and an Alpha Wolf just like straight up killing you, which is really nice.
Yeah. And
there is a Roshan attempt coming out here.
And they're getting away with this. It's half HP. Liquid now
Killed that fast.
coming across. They poke in, swap back on Mickey, but there's no follow-up. The Will-O-Wisp is there, down onto the 3. The 4th of them actually. Nico Baby steps forward as well. He's trying to kill off the Will-O-Wisp, but not before they lose hands, Ken. Another drag, bringing Nico Baby back in range of Poikva and Tiger. Rolls forward. They have him in position, but the save's there from FNG. False Promise comes out. They turn with the Eclipse. X-Mark onto Insania. Nico Baby trying to step forward, but another slight change from Mickey comes out. He's being buffed up by Insania, refilling him, giving him remnants to play with. Jumps forward, roll forward. They've managed to kill off the Luna. Nico Baby dies on the front lines. Limp falls as well. The rest of Alliance just trying to bail out of there, but they're not going to be able to escape. S4's chased down. Boxi picks up the double. And Roche, it's at half HP. Liquid, they can head in, and with the help of the arrow from Boxi stunning it up, they're going to be able to take this themselves.
That was a really risky move from Alliance. Maybe they felt cornered, you know? It's kind of a similar feeling to game 1. It's just, where's the damage? It seems like their lineup shouldn't really be lacking in the damage department just because they have like Eclipse, they have Kunkka-Boat, they have Reaper, all these things. And we have seen those abilities used to some success when they killed Mickey in mid when that fight kind of kicked off by the tier 1. But it doesn't really feel like they have quite enough in the tank to just secure that one important core kill and then move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Whereas Liquid, they have tons of disengage. They can just keep reinitiating over and over and over again, however many times it takes for them to get the look that they want. Because like Mirana is very mobile, Earth Spirit, Ember Spirit, mobile heroes, Coddle sits in the back, you know, Visage sits in the back. So they just seem to be really comfortable playing these heroes that can just weave in and out of the fights however they see fit, and they're making it look good.
And Liquid themselves, they have so much damage. I mean, look at Boxi's build. This treads into MKB. He's 505. I do have to remind all our viewers, this is a trained professional. Do not try this at home in your offlane.
Please, God, no.
Just going offlane Mirana, rushing MKB. But Boxi, he's a master. 505. He's making this hero look excellent in this role. And he really is. He's just doing so much damage in the fight. Whoever he leaps in and starts punching, they just get melted.
His itemization is on point. I can't... I don't know if I'm ever going to say this again, but this is definitely a good Mirana game after seeing how it's played out. Because of the way they set the lanes, they enabled him to get a 1v1 that he would feel comfortable enough in to succeed.
Oh, he was.
And he like bullied Nico Baby as well. Yeah, Alliance just sitting, you know, the classic 2 supports behind 1 core because they're terrified.
S4. He's lucky that was a long TP. Doesn't mean that the arrow timing wasn't quite there. Still, Liquid, they're poking at this from the Moonlight Shadow. They're moving on towards Limp. Tiger rolls towards the back lanes. They're trying to find FNG. Trying to push him away to make sure he can't come in for the False Promise. In from the side, Nico Baby pops the Eclipse. Is he going to be actually enough damage to kill anyone? It isn't. Liquid stay off to the side. Roll away from Tiger. False Promise having to be used on himself, FNG. They do manage to get the stuns on the Mickey, but he still has the chance to pop the side of Fist. The silence from Tiger is onto the 3 of them. Render forward from Mickey. Mickey fully low, but he's got the Aegis. He doesn't even care. The arrow connection after the chains onto Limp. He's not even going to go down the once. Mickey is fine. The Magnetizers kept going as they have to retreat. They have to escape, but they can't. Boxi picks up the triple kill, jumping forward. Only Nico Baby and S4 left alive. They have to split. They have to get out of it. But here comes the right clicks. Boxi with the ultra kill. You know he's not done. He tries to get lucky with the arrow. Won't find the angle, but even so, Boxi's Mirana just blowing away Alliance this game.
This is probably one of the best Mirana performances you're going to see, mostly because people just don't pick Mirana. But let's be honest, Boxi's playing out of his mind this game. Very good itemization. He's always in the right spot at the right time. He's going to see S4 here as well. Maybe go for the Hail Mary arrow. Quite hard to hit in this position.
That's a little bit of a poke. S4. It's going to turn, but yes, 12k lead now for Liquid. Every single one of these fights going very, very nicely. It really is a repeat again with this Visage. You know, as we saw, it didn't need an insane beginning of the lane in terms of farm. He's still got his items, and he's still such a nuisance in these fights. He's 4-1 on an 8 quake, but he requires so many resources to be dealt with, and resources that Alliance haven't got free to spare on.
Oh, they are going to find Boxi, though.
Finally ending him.
Get the kill on him. Yeah, inside of the woods. Seems like that's the area where Liquid like to casually feed their cores. I don't know. Like Quickma died there earlier, and now Boxi's going to die there as well. I mean, it's fine for them. They're still at an enormous advantage. It's not like it really changes too much. Roshan's not up. I don't think that Alliance are going to feel comfortable in pushing right now. But it is the Visage just seems to be something that this team understands
Radiant's top tower
very,
is
very
under
well.
attack.
Like, they put him in a side lane, and your
Radiant's
first
structures
inclination,
are fortified.
you know, as a Dota player is to go, well, doesn't this hero kind of want EXP? And then you realize that as soon as you get 6, you just farm really, really fast. And your 6 timing isn't really that important if your mid player and your offlane player are both super high level and also having great games on top of that. So it's not only just that he understands like how to itemize and play the hero himself, but the team knows how to fit it into the draft. So I feel like Alliance, on the other hand, they put one of the slowest heroes in the game, a Necrophos, in the offlane and against a tri-lane, and then kept that tri-lane even to a point where I feel like it was detrimental to their lineup. And then they did like a late swap by putting one of the supports bottom with Nico Baby, who had already lost his lane by that point. And after that, I just felt like their lineup just isn't, it doesn't feel powerful really at any point versus Liquid.
At least not until some super late portion where Nico Baby is starting to build a damage item. Because you just look across the cores and it really is the same case as the last game. Where is the damage? Especially Limp in this mid lane role. He's gone for this Crimson into the Lotus Orb. He's building fully defensively and to make sure that Nico Baby can have a game. But obviously Nico Baby is the Looney. He's going for this Manta and then for this BKB. Then he'll get some sort of right-click item online, and it just all feels a little too slow in a game where Liquid, as I say, we've seen with Boxi, he has this MKB rush. You know, they have, for instance, their offlane hero just doing insane amounts of right-click damage in a team fight, and Alliance just don't have anything to match that.
Yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate. I feel like their drafts today have not been the most inspired. You know, Liquid are playing their style, they're doing it well.
They found S4. Hanscam will be there with the swap to try and save him, but he still gets caught in the familiar stun. Pops the Ghost Shroud. He's trying to run, but again, it's just Alliance having to split. They cannot help one another. They've just got to try and individually save themselves. As S4 and a Hanscam left behind.
I feel like at this point Alliance are more or less just all-inning on Nico Baby. That's really all they can do. You can see the Kunkka's itemization. I think you mentioned he went back for a plate now. After the Crimson, he's going for the Lotus. Then they are just going to put a bunch of buffs on Nico Baby and be like, I choose you. Please kill everyone on Liquid or we're in big trouble.
Radiant's top tower is under
waiting
attack.
and hoping that
Radiant are
he gets a bit of a catch with
Radiant's
this
top
Invis
tower
room, but
has fallen.
as it will be, nobody from Liquid stepping up there. Boxi with his BKB done. I mean, the fact that you do have both cores with that BKB basically making them invincible in these fights, as physical damage is just not present right now from Alliance's heroes.
I think after a series like this, if you're Alliance, you go back and you just go, why didn't we just ban Visage game 2? Because it feels like that hero has done, even just by being in the game, it makes it awkward, you know, because of the way that the lanes worked out.
It's the fact that we're at this 25-minute mark again, and he's just got everything that his team wants him to have. Pipe, AC, Helm. Like you start pushing in with this Visage, and this sort of strategical investment into these items and hitting them this early, it just makes Mickey and Boxi's games so darn good that normally we see this where there's like the carry is a right clicker, but because you have both the carry and your offlaner doing so much right click damage, the value is amazing. But Boxi is called out. If you manage to turn and blow him up before he pops a BKB, a very big pick for Alliance, as Boxi just doesn't BKB in time, feeling overconfident, jumping in, and they're able to turn. S4 immediately latching him down with the Reaper's Sight.
Yeah, he does not hesitate on that thing. He did it to Mickey earlier in mid, did it again there to Boxi. I mean, it was a clean move. It's very, very well executed. It's just, you know, it's a drop in the bucket. They need to get a lot more of those types of things going if they want to make their true, like, comeback into this game. Roshan's going to be spawning in a little under a minute, so be looking to see if Alliance are trying to contest or if they just want to play the side lane game. I feel that's really where this lineup kind of just doesn't play well, is when it comes to side lanes, because you're playing against Mirana, so you have Moonlight Shadow to worry about. You have the Ember, you have the Earth Spirit, these heroes that are highly mobile and super threatening to slow heroes like Necrophos and even a Luna, who is quite a bit faster, obviously. But there's just no, like, there's no mobility on Alliance's draft. So when you're playing side lanes against a team like Liquid's, and they have the ability to jump you from like 2 screens away, you kind of feel like you have to play this compact style where you play the support behind the core. And if you don't have control of the map and you're playing support behind the core, you just kind of get out GPM'd and out experience per minute, and it's kind of being reflected in you know, Liquid continuing to grow their lead.
Line being drawn by Liquid. They will group up for the smoke. Try and pounce. They know that the Reaper's Scythe's still down for 25. Has pretty much been the sole tool that's allowed Alliance to get these kills whilst behind Limp. They managed to find him. They're going to start poking away. He's got a torrent. Slows down Mickey a little bit as he's sent into the air, but Limp cannot save himself. Roshan's up. They'll head into the pit. They'll start taking it. And very little that Alliance can do about this. They're going to just have to let Liquid have this, as this Aegis and Cheese will be theirs. And then once that's in their hands, you can certainly expect Liquid to start closing in on the tier 2s and approaching high.
Well, we'll see if Nico Baby can maybe do some creep cutting shenanigans. I mean, again, it's really hard. Even with the 10-second BKB, he doesn't even feel confident hitting the tier 1. It's kind of like a sad state of affairs. Because you're this core hero, you're the one, you really want to try to help your team. But the truth is, there hasn't really been much happening in the game to enable Nico Baby's play at all. Like, he needs to be able to walk in and hit stuff, and it feels impossible, right? Like, if there's a 5-man unit of Liquid just walking down a lane with an Aegis, what do you do? It's the same story as game 1.
Kin. Limps here by the tier 2. TP's over. Riot's in position. Has 5, very much ready for any moves from Liquid. You know, even if they do come, the question is whether Alliance can turn on them and hit it all on S4 to get that Reaper Scythe slammed down onto one of the carries before they BKB, and relying on the rest of his team to bring them down underneath the threshold. They're watching him. Okay, coming in from the side. They're going to start the fight. Leads him with the chains already. Tiger Rock straight forward to the back line to Will-O-Wisp down. Onto the 3, 4 of them. In fact, grabbing them all back. There'll be a swap trying to get S4 out of it. But S4, he's so low. The first Soul Assumption comes out, takes out the Vengeful Spirit. BKB, popped by Tiger, who's also got it ready to fight with. Rolls over as they move. Mickey tries to come in onto Nico Baby. The Eclipse comes out. But Mickey, with his BKB, he doesn't care at all about the Eclipse. He's got another Remnant. Throws it out to back away. There's been a buyback from Handskin. Mickey, he doubles back in with the Remnant again. Handskin comes with the swap. Reaper Scythe's out, but this time it's not enough damage. Mickey will not fall. Ghost Shroud is not going to save S4. It buys him a little bit of time. Then the Soul Assumption, the kick forward. S4's down. No buyback on him. Liquid can continue to push in onto this tier 2 with the Visage and her birds. And Mickey, throughout it all, he doesn't even lose the Aegis. He's now got the money to complete his Aghanim Scepter. This game continuing to get tougher and tougher for Alliance to hold on to.
You could see like how helpless Nico Baby feels in these fights. He BKBs, he's autoing, he pops his Eclipse, you know. That's the point as a Luna where you should feel like you are the strongest. Mickey using a Remnant there for an illusion. Not too worried about it though, I'm sure, given the current state of affairs, but I don't know, man. These types of lineups, like Alliance have some catch, like they have X and offensive swap, but you're like sacrificing heroes to do that. They're just going in.
Just going straight in, kicking Limp outside of the base. Limp, he's gone, or maybe not. FNG, last millisecond, coming in with a false promise, will keep Limp momentarily alive. They're salving him up, making him as well through it all, so he will heal back up to a safe amount of health. Limp will live thanks to the fast reaction of FNG. They even get the swap back onto Mickey. Mickey, one more slight, but they are able to take away the Aegis. Can they do it a second time? It doesn't look like they'll be able to, as Mickey gets the Flame Guard off. He's being glimmered, pops the Essence Ring, he's able to move away. Very nice arrow there from Boxi. Came in onto Limp just as Limp was trying to prime the Torrent to catch him as he came out of that.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see, like, where is the damage? There just really isn't any. And it feels like when you look at the Visage versus Luna kind of matchup and how the heroes want to play, because obviously they both kind of played as one this game.
The prize is mine.
Even though the Luna doesn't really care about your birds that much, you can't utilize Eclipse as effectively as you would want, because you're always going to be dealing with the Dominator creep and 2 Familiars as long as the Visage is in the fight. So you're kind of splitting your damage pretty heavily whenever you pop that Eclipse in a 5 versus 5 engagement, and it just doesn't feel like, you know, we talked about game 1 where the Luna's this kind of physical magic damage dealing monster, but we're not feeling it this game because he's either hitting a BKB'd or Flame Guarded Ember, Visage Familiars, or 2 heroes that stand like a million miles away from the fight, and a Coddle and a Mirana, and then Taiga, who also has his own. So Eclipse basically is just not even a skill right now.
They just BKB or roll away, or remnants away.
Yeah,
Many ways
it's real
to escape.
tough. Maybe they solved the Luna, and maybe that's what Liquid has.
I think that by the looks of it, they may have. A hero that's been winning time and time again, but Liquid have come in and they're shutting it down hard. 21k lead right now. As they look to try and kick off another fight. Silence from Tiger catches the three of them. The Willow is out. They move in, committing onto Lim. Lim is not going to be able to live himself. Does manage to get close enough for FNG to come in with the false promise. Mickey pots the BKB. Nico Baby's Eclipse doing some work, but just not enough right now. Tiger rolling in, no fear whatsoever. The Reaper's Sight will manage to slam down Mickey. But the rest of Alliance, they're having to retreat. Hansken with the swap out, but this magnetized Tiger, he's just keeping it on them for the entirety of this fight once again. Rolls over on towards FNG, kicking him back into the clutches of the rest of his team. Lim tries to step forward, but he's the last man standing, and he will finally go down as well. It's a team wipe. Liquid kill them all. 28-9. The net worth lead just continuing to grow. Alliance, they just can't get a foot in this game.
It's just so hard to play a lineup where you're behind and have the mobility advantage, right? I mean, that's kind of been the story of the game. Every time there's an initiation, you can see Taiga, like you said, he's in the fight forever. He gets like 5 stones down to propagate his magnetize, and it outlasted the both up. Like, that's how long they were magnetized for. They just don't have enough damage anymore to really just get that one kill. It's kind of been the story of the entire game. Even in the mid lane, like Lim solo died, like Mickey killed him, he hit 6. Obviously, like those types of plays are really hard to deal with because you don't know exactly how much experience the other guy has. But then after that, everyone's just getting like killed in these team fights, and there's no damage being dealt to really any of the cores on the side of Liquid. The only time they ever get a kill from Alliance is a Reaper combo. That's it. Like, they killed Mickey, and then they lost everyone.
Yep. I mean, and that's sort of what hurts about it the most, right? You know, if you are, as this Necro, getting these Reaper's kills, but just not able to do anything with the extended time that the hero's dead, it's like, well, what does the kill actually count for at all? You're getting a nice cash bonus, but you're just unable to do anything with it because you're always having to use it in situations where your whole team's just dying.
It's always been a thing in Dota where it's not really like pure rock, paper, scissors, but there are certain things that your lineup wants to have. One of them is normally catch, and it's just a term that loosely describes, can we jump on a hero when they don't expect it and kill him? Right? And that's what your Kunkka is for in this lineup. But the issue that they're running into is he's the only guy who can do it, and there are like 3 heroes that really need to die on Liquid. And S4 is just going for this bounty.
It's close.
Lots of damage on Boxi.
Very, very close with that MKB. Daedalus done. Chains are in. They're ready to kick off another fight here. Liquid over the go. Straight on a Hanskin. The Willow is down. They pop the BKBs. Roll forward from Tiger. He's trying to keep FNG at bay. He cannot get close enough to save S4. FNG pops the false promise onto Nico Baby, trying to give the Luna some way of escaping. But it's another huge cleanup from Liquid as Boxi claims the triple kill. I mean, his KDA just getting fatter and fatter. 14, 2, and 15 this game. I mean, all of them on Liquid are just having stellar performances because of the high involvement from every single member. You know, all of these plays, they're happening as a 5-man, they're happening as a unit. You know, it's a great game as well for the Keeper of the Light, Insania. He's holding on to 6k gold in the bank. He's going to just be able to buy a straight up entire Hex.
I just want to point out, by the way, now that we're talking about Insania, this guy didn't even skill Blinding Light until, like, I don't even know, it was either 10 or 11, I think he skilled it. He just played side lanes the whole game. He's like, hey, if I push these lanes, I know my team will make stuff happen on the map. And then again, that's just like real thorough understanding of what their lineup is meant to do, because he's really the only one who wants to do it. You don't want to show Ember too much. I mean, Visage is going to be farming the woods a lot. Boxi might show on a lane here and there, but he is basically like the dedicated wave clear in this game, and it's showing. He's got, you know, he's the trust fund in this game.
There we go, rain tracks taken. They will manage to push them away from the melee racks for now. But it doesn't feel much more than, you know, just Liquid giving some, you know, sort of playing with their food a bit. They know that they're at such a lead. I mean, it's hard for them not to. Looking at their items, they know. And yeah, as we see, Nico Baby, he's going for it. It's the only way. I mean, it's not guaranteed to be the way, but it's a chance of finding the way of turning it around.
Not do it.
Yeah, he
has to.
He has to.
I mean, Rapier is one of those items that is, I feel, still maybe a little bit under-purchased still.
Okay.
It's because it gives you an unbelievable power spike, and the item got buffed so many times in a row. It used to be way less damage, and now it's just permanent true strike.
Yes.
So you can't miss, right? Unless it's building something or something like that. I don't know. Dota interactions are weird. But anyway, there are a lot of times when you can just get that hero with an Aegis, and the game will just end. Because the enemy team, even if they have buybacks, they won't be able to commit on the hero like a Luna. Gyro obviously is not super popular right now, but he was also one of the guys who used to buy it a lot. And then you have like your Medusa and such. So I think it's actually quite strong. If you feel confident in your ability to just win like one engagement, then you can just end.
But is it strong?
Yeah, here we go.
Is it strong enough to turn around a 34k lead?
Okay, that I don't know. I just really like talking about the item because I feel it's one of those things where Dota players are oftentimes very stubborn, obviously myself included. And we really just hate to do stuff differently than how we think it should be done, right? Maybe that's just humans, I don't know. But I think it's just one of those items that people, like Necrobook. Necrobook was the same for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, everyone just starts buying it because they see like 1 or 2 games of a guy doing well with the item, right? I feel like Rapier could very easily be the same thing.
Oh, he's so close.
Is under attack.
So close.
I mean, he's definitely going to buy it.
I mean, yeah, he's going to get, if they stick around and push this tier 2 in another wave, he'll have it. He's going to sell the helm.
Leveler, which is,
he's going to sell the helm.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good call. All in hero and all in.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Oh, Mickey. He's in as he's out. Nico Baby steps in. Now got the Hex onto Lim. They will have seen the Rapier now, you would have imagined. The Will-O-Wisp down and out. Nico Baby, does he want to try and commit the BKB upon the BKB? Takes out the Will-O-Wisp, turns over towards Mickey. There's the damage. It is forcing the Hammer to back up. They popped the Eclipse, but already Liquid are out of range of this one. They turn with the Soul Assumption and out. The BKB, oh no, it's ended on Nico Baby. Nico Baby is vulnerable. He needs help. Is he going to get in time? Wants the man to try to retreat. FNG, he's in with a false promise just in time. They're moving to the side. The boat, it comes crashing down. They're trying to turn with the Will-O-Wisp. It's causing so many issues for Alliance. They have to step out of the range of it, and they lose the life of Nico Baby. They didn't have enough heals to keep him up. No buyback on them. Boxi, he'll claim his trophy, picks up the Rapier, and whoa, that's a straight DC. Limp just pieces out of here as GG is called. The tips are there. Liquid know that Limp is just done with this game. He's done with this series.
I mean, I don't think I can blame him. It's kind of a frustrating game to play when I feel like strategically you're just at the disadvantage. That's like the hardest win to acquire in Dota, is when you have been outdrafted like heavily, right? And I don't feel like this game was maybe even as bad as game number 1, but the way the lane shaped up, both, you know, solo players on Liquid getting the advantage over their counterparts on Alliance, and then, you know, Boxi having a standout performance where he basically just goes around and kills every single person on the map. He did have that one like kind of random death, which is, you know, already at a point where I feel like Liquid maybe couldn't have lost the game at that point. But overall, just Liquid strategy, the way they laned, the way they played, it was excellent. Very good performance.